Good morning, dear students. The title of chapter 6 is Work, Energy and Power. The topics which we are going to cover in this chapter are the scalar. The first one is the scalar or dot product, work, energy, kinetic energy, calculating work done from Fx graph, work energy theorem, potential energy and gravitational potential energy, conservative force and its properties, potential energy stored in a spring, the law of conservation of energy, various forms of energy. We define power, and at the end of the chapter, collisions. In collisions, we have three types of collisions. We will discuss collisions in detail in this chapter. First we start our chapter with the scalar or dot product. The scalar or dot product. The scalar product of two vectors a bar and b bar is defined as a bar dot b bar is equal to magnitude of a into magnitude of b into cos theta. Here theta is the angle between a bar and b bar. Using this equation we can define the scalar or dot product. So the dot product of two vectors is equal to the magnitude of the product of the two vectors and the cosine of the angle between the two vectors. So here this is magnitude of the first vector, this is the magnitude of the second vector, and cos theta. Here theta is the angle between the two vectors a bar and b bar. Here I will draw two vectors. Let's say here we have a vector a bar and I have another vector, let's say b bar. Now I want to know the dot product of vector a bar and b bar. Actually here the dot product are scalar product. Dot product is also called as scalar product because the result of dot product of two vectors is a scalar quantity. So this side we have this is a vector, and this is the dot product of the two vectors, but this side we have only scalar. So the result of dot product is a scalar. That's why dot product is also called as scalar. And you may get one doubt. We are saying product, right? So when we take numbers, when we take ordinary numbers, just we take simply like this, 2 into 3. If we have 2 and if we have 3, 2 3s are 6. And if we have 10 into 5, we have 50 like this. So simply we can multiply numbers like this. But when it comes to vectors can be multiplied in two ways. That is dot product. That is one is dot product. That is suppose I have a vector a bar and I have another vector b bar. So you can take dot product like this is dot product, or it is also called as scalar product because the result is a scalar. The result is a scalar. And we also have another product, that is cross product. You can write a bar cross b bar. This is called cross product, or it is also called as vector product. This you will learn in the upcoming in the upcoming chapters. So vectors can be multiplied only two ways, either dot product or cross product. But you cannot write like this simply. You cannot write a bar b bar without mentioning any dot or cross. You are not supposed to write like this. Either whenever we write two vectors like this, there must be addition, that is plus or minus or symbol. When we multiply two vectors, there must be a dot like this, a dot, then it is called as dot product. If you have vectors like this, which is called as cross product. So in vectors, vector addition is defined, subtraction is defined, multiplication is also defined. Multiplication is in two ways. One is dot product or cross product, but vector division is not defined. That means you cannot divide two vectors. So here we are discussing product of two vectors, and which product? First one, the dot product, which we are discussing here. So here we have vector a bar and vector b bar. Now we want to know a bar dot b bar. So now what we do is, so we take a bar this way. Now take the parallel component of b with respect to a. That means, so this b bar can be resolved into two components. One is parallel to a bar and another one is perpendicular to a bar. So we take a bar and the parallel component of b bar in the direction of a bar. So then this product is called as dot product. Here I'll explain. Now take the parallel component of b bar. So what do we do? This b bar can be resolved into two components. B bar can be written, this is one vector, this is another vector, right? So this vector is, you can write this one as you can write it as B parallel, parallel vector. Parallel to whom? This vector is parallel to A bar. So here this vector and this vector, the product of these two vectors actually called as dot product or scalar product. So scalar product is nothing but the parallel components, the product of parallel components of two vectors. Parallel component means already we have A bar this way. This is actual vector A bar, but this side we have B bar. Now we take the parallel component of B bar with respect to A bar. A bar, we take the parallel component of B bar with respect to A bar. Then we take this product, the product of A bar and the product of B parallel. So this product is called as dot product. Now let us see. Yeah, here B bar. So from figure, let's say this angle is theta. Let's say this angle is theta. So from figure, what do we write? Cos theta is equal to, cos theta is equal to, so what do we write? Adjacent side by hypotenuse. So adjacent side, yeah, we write like this, by B. Or in vector notation you are supposed to write like this. But we are not supposed to write B parallel bar by B bar. So vector division is not defined. Yeah, here we are not supposed to write like this. So cos theta is equal to B parallel by B bar. No, we are not supposed to write like this. Remember, we are not supposed to divide the two vectors like this. So vector addition is defined, subtraction is defined, multiplication is also defined. Multiplication in two ways, dot product and cross product. But vector division is not defined. Now here what do we write? B parallel is equal to, what do we write? B goes here, B cos theta, B cos theta. And this equation can we write like this? A into B cos theta, A into B cos theta. Here A is from here to here, and what is B cos theta? B cos theta, this one only, right? That is B parallel, right? That means, so what is dot product? Dot product is nothing but the product of parallel components. In another way also we can write, now I take vector A bar, yeah, the same figure I am taking. This is vector A bar, and we have vector B bar. Now take the parallel component of A bar with respect to B bar. Take the parallel component of A bar with respect to B bar. Now what do we do? Simply we extend this one. Now we draw a perpendicular from here to here. Now we draw a perpendicular. Yeah, here the angle must be equal to 90 degrees. Yeah, from here to here. Now I am drawing. Now, yeah, this is A bar and this is 90 degrees we have. Now from here to here, what we do is, from here to here we draw a vector. From here to here we draw a vector. Now I call it as A parallel bar. Yeah, the symbol represents parallel. What is this A parallel? The parallel component of A bar with respect to B bar. Now take the product of these two things. Actually B bar vector is from here to here, and A parallel bar from here to here. Now take this product simply. So that one. So A parallel from this figure. Yeah, from the first figure we are writing like this. Now from the second figure, let's say again this angle is theta. So this is a right angle triangle. Now from this figure, cos theta is equal to, yeah, from this figure, this is the angle we have. So this is adjacent side and this is hypotenuse. It becomes hypotenuse because this angle is 90 degrees, right? But in this triangle, this angle theta, this is 90 degrees, this is hypotenuse, and this is adjacent side. But for this triangle, this is adjacent side and this is hypotenuse. So what do we write? A parallel bar, that is adjacent side by hypotenuse, from here to here or here to here, whatever you call. Now A parallel is equal to, what do we write? A cos theta, A cos theta. So here the same equation, A bar dot B bar is equal, you can write A bar, the magnitude of A bar means A only. The magnitude of B bar means B only. So A B cos theta, or A into we can write B cos theta, right? Now the same equation I write like this. That is A cos theta into B. A parallel means A cos theta. From here to here, A cos theta into B. A cos theta into B. That means the same equation can be written like this. That means the parallel, it is the product of parallel components of two vectors. That is, take A bar total vector or into the parallel component of B bar with respect to A bar. That means A into B cos theta we will get. Or, so take actual vector B bar and the parallel component of A bar with respect to A bar. So in this case, what do we get? The parallel component of A vector, A cos theta, and B, A cos theta into B. So this one or this one, these two are same. And the result, does it have any direction? So first we are taking the product of these two things. Second, we are taking the product of this way. That is the product of vector B and the parallel component of A bar here. And here we are taking the product of A bar and the parallel component of B. So in both cases, do we have any direction, particular direction? No, simply we are multiplying the parallel components and we are not assigning a particular direction. That's why the dot product, the result of dot product is a scalar. That's why this dot product is also called as a scalar product. Yeah, let us see the properties of dot product. The first property is the dot product is commutative. The dot product is commutative. That means A bar dot B bar is equal to B bar dot A bar. These two are same. When you take A bar dot B bar or B bar dot A bar, in both cases you will get the same result. So that's why we can say, so the dot product is commutative. And the second one, the dot product is distributive. The dot product is distributive. That means suppose we have a vector A bar and we have the vector sum of another two vectors like this, B bar dot C bar. So this is the dot product we have and we have addition here. So in this case we can write A bar dot B bar plus, you can write A bar dot C bar. Yeah, first we take A bar dot B bar plus A bar dot C bar. So this is also valid in the case of dot product. That's why the dot product is distributive. And the third property, it is like this. Suppose we have a vector A bar dot some lambda into B bar. Lambda is a real number. That means A bar dot into suppose some phi into B bar. Then we can take this lambda, that is a number, a real number, out like this. You can write lambda here and simply you can write A bar dot B bar. Here what is lambda? Here lambda is a real number. The value may be -1 or any negative value or any positive value. Here lambda is a real number. So these are the properties of dot product. Now calculate scalar product using components. Yes. Now let us take component. That means let us take unit vectors first. How we take the dot product of unit vectors? Yeah. First I take I cap dot I cap. You know what is I cap? I cap is a unit vector along x-axis plus x-axis. J cap is a unit vector along y-axis plus y-axis. And k cap is a unit vector along plus z-axis. Suppose now I want to take the dot product of two unit vectors along plus x-axis. So from the definition of A bar dot B bar, what do we write? Magnitude of A bar into magnitude of B bar into cos of the angle between the two vectors. So first one, what do we need to take? Magnitude of the first vector, that is magnitude of the first vector into magnitude of the second vector into cos of the angle between the two vectors. So what is the angle between I cap and I cap? I cap is the vector along plus x-axis and the second I cap is also a unit vector along x-axis. So the angle between these two vectors is always equal to 0. So cos 0 degrees. So what do we write? 1 into 1 into 1. So what do you get the result? 1. In the similar manner, I dot, so I dot I cap dot I cap equal to what do you get? 1. So in the similar manner, j cap dot j cap is equal to what do we write? The magnitude of the first vector j cap, the magnitude of the second vector j cap, cos 0 degrees. That is, the magnitude of this vector is 1, the magnitude of this vector is 1, and cos 0 equal to 1. So 1 into 1 into 1. What do we get? 1. In a similar manner, k cap dot k cap. So the magnitude of k cap into the magnitude of k cap into cos 0 degrees equal to 1 into 1 into 1. So what do you understand from this? So the scalar product of any two unit vectors along plus x-axis or plus y-axis or plus z-axis equal to how much are we getting? 1. Now let us take, here we are taking I cap dot I cap. Now let us take I cap dot j cap. I cap dot j cap. Now what do we get, guys? So magnitude of the first vector I cap and the second vector magnitude of j cap, that is the second vector, into cos of the angle between the two vectors I cap and j cap. I cap is unit vector plus x-axis along plus x-axis and j cap is unit vector along plus y-axis. So what is the angle between plus x-axis and plus y-axis? 90 degrees, right? So the angle between I cap and j cap is also 90 degrees. So what do you get? Cos 90 degrees. So this is equal to 1, this is equal to 1. But what about cos 90? 0. 0 into something? 0. So I cap dot j cap. So what do we get? 0. In the similar manner, now let us take j cap dot k cap. Now magnitude of j cap, magnitude of k cap, and the angle between j cap and k cap. J cap is unit vector along plus y axis, k cap is unit vector along plus z axis. So the angle between y axis and z axis is 90. So the angle between j cap and k cap is also 90. So here we need to take the angle between the two vectors, cos of the angle between the two vectors, cos 90. So 1 into 1 into 1 into, that is magnitude of this one is 1, magnitude of this one is 1, and cos 90 equal to 0. So we get 0. Now take k cap dot I cap. So I dot j dot k, I'm going in an order. So k cap dot I cap. So magnitude of k cap, magnitude of I cap, and again what is the angle between k cap and I cap? K cap is unit vector along plus z axis, I cap is unit vector along plus x axis. The angle between x and z axis is again 90 degrees. So here we take cos 90 degrees. So 1 into 0. So what do you get? 0. So here, see guys, I dot j. Here we have already seen a bar dot b bar equal to b bar dot a bar. That means I dot j or j dot I. Both are same. So I dot j equal to 0. Then j dot is also equal to 0. In a similar manner, j dot k is equal, or j cap dot k cap is equal to 0. Then k cap dot j cap is also equal to 0. So k cap dot I cap is equal to 0, then I cap dot k cap is also equal to 0. Simply you can remember this one simply. I dot I 1, j dot j 1, k dot k 1. So if we take I dot j or I dot k, that is 0. J dot I or I dot j 0. That means they are always perpendicular to each other. This is about the dot product of unit vectors. Now let us see how if we know these things only, we can calculate the scalar product of using component. That we will see now. Yes, now let us take two vectors with components like this. So now let a bar is equal to ax into I cap, ay into j cap, az into k cap. Now another vector bx into I cap, by into j cap, bz into k cap. Now I have to take the dot product of the two vectors, a bar dot b bar, a bar dot b bar. So first what do? First we take the first vector ax into I cap, ay into j cap plus az into k cap dot bx into I cap, by into j cap and bz into k cap. Yeah, we have already learned dot product is distributive. That means what do? We take the first term and we take the dot product of the three terms here, and next we take the second one here and we take the third product of dot product of the three terms here. Next we take the third term here and we take the dot product of the three terms here. So first let us take ax into these three values. So what do? Ax bx, ax bx into, here we have I cap dot I cap. So what do? I cap dot I cap, the first term. Next here the first term and second term, ax into by, and I cap we have, and here we have j cap, and here we have dot. So I cap dot j cap plus now the first term and third term, ax bz I cap dot k cap. Next, so the first term and the three terms are over. Now take the second term, ay into this value, ay into bx j dot j cap dot I cap, j dot cap I cap. Next, this one into this one, ay into by j dot j. Next, this one into this one, ay into bz j dot cap k cap. So the second term is also over. Now we take the third term, az into this value, az into this value, and into this value. So az bx, and what is the term we have? K cap dot I cap. Next, az into by, k cap dot j cap. Next, az into this value, az into bz k cap into k cap. Now let us see this one. So this side what do we have? A bar dot b bar, and this side we have ax into bx into I dot I. I dot I equal to 1 now, so we can write ax bx. So I dot I 1, no need to write 1. And ax by I dot j, just now we have seen I dot j is equal to how much? 0. I dot j, j dot I, that is equal to 0. So 0 into something 0, no need to write. And ax into bz I dot k or k dot I, that is equal to 0. So 0 into something 0. So no need to write this one also. And ay bx j dot I cap, j cap dot I cap, so is equal to how much? 0. So 0 into something 0. Next, ay by, but j dot j equal to 1. So 1 into this value we write ay by plus, next, ay into bz j cap dot k cap equal to 0, because these two are perpendicular to each other. And here k cap dot I cap, this is equal to 0, 0 into something 0. And k cap dot j cap is equal to 0, 0 into something 0, no need to write this one. And the last term, k cap dot k cap is equal to 1. So this term az bz like this. That means, so whenever components are given directly, you can multiply the x components plus y components plus z component. Now let us take one example how to take the dot product. So I have a vector a cap, that is 2i plus 3j minus 4k, and I have another vector 3i, let us take minus 10j plus 5k cap. Now a bar dot b bar, every time we need to do all these things like this. So the result, how much are we getting? Simply the product of x components plus y component, the product of y components plus the product of z components. Now take the x components product. So what do we get? 2 into 3 plus y components. Here we have 3 and here we have minus 10. So 3 into minus 10 plus next one. So what is the product we have? Minus 4 and 5. So minus 4 into 5. Just we take this value. So how much do we have? 3 2s are 6 we have, plus 10 3s are 30. So this is minus 30, right? So plus, and we have minus value, that is, so minus 30, and 5 4s are 20, plus 20 or minus 20? Minus 20, minus 20. So what is the result we have? Plus minus 30 minus 20 minus 50, minus 50 plus 4. So how much do we have? 44 units. 44. Of course, no unit is not given. Simply we say it is 44, or plus 44 or minus 44? Minus 44. So the dot product, the result may be positive, the result may be negative. Depends on the components of the vectors which we are taking. So this is the way we need to take the dot product using components. So when the components are given like this, so simply we find like this, the dot product of two vectors like this. Now let us see how we find the angle between two vectors using its components. Suppose again we have two vectors. Yeah, vector a bar is this way and vector b bar is in this direction, and there is certain angle theta. Now I want to know a bar is given and b bar is given. Now I want to find theta. Suppose let a bar is given some ax into I cap, ay into j cap, and az into k cap, and b bar is given bx into I cap, by into j cap, and bz into k cap. Now using the dot product, what do we write, guys? A bar dot b bar is equal to, what do we write? Magnitude of a bar into magnitude of b bar into cos of the angle between the two vectors, cos theta. From this equation, what do we write? Cos theta is equal to a bar dot b bar divided by magnitude of a bar into magnitude of b bar, and cos theta is equal to, if we know components like this, how do you find a bar dot b bar? Just now we have seen a bar dot b bar equal to, you can write this value, right? So that means, so what do we write here? Ax bx plus ay by plus az bz divided by the magnitude of a bar. A bar, how do you find magnitude of a bar? Simply we know components, ax, ay, az. So ax square plus ay square plus az square. And what about the magnitude of b bar? Bx square by square plus bz square. Now we substitute the components ax, ay, az and bx, by, bz in this case, in right side. So we will get some constant. So after getting that one, what do we get? Theta is equal to cos inverse the whole term. So whatever we are writing here, the whole term which we write here, and we get some constant. So cos inverse that value, we will get the angle between the two vectors a bar and b bar. So this is the way we need to find the angle between the two vectors using its components. Yes, let us take an example to understand how to find angle between two vectors using components. Now here, what do we write? Cos theta is equal to, what is the formula we have? A bar dot b bar divided by magnitude of a bar into magnitude of b bar. Simply a bar dot b bar is equal to, what do we write? So components of the product of x components, 2 into minus 4 plus 3 into minus 5 plus and minus 5 into 2. So the product of x components plus the product of y components plus the product of z components. So we are getting a bar dot b bar divided by, now the magnitude of a bar. So how do we write x component, y component, z component? 2 square plus 3 square plus 5 square. Next, the magnitude of b bar. So take x, y and z components. 4 square plus 5 square plus 2 square. Now simplify this value, we'll get some constant here, and after getting some constant, so theta is equal to cos inverse of this value. Just I'm taking example. Suppose I'm getting this is half. Simply I'm taking, we may not get this value, you calculate, and if you get cos inverse of, so cos inverse of, what is the angle? Half, we'll get 60 degrees. That means, so whatever the value which we get, simply use calculator and we'll get the angle in degrees. So this is the way we calculate dot product using components. This is the way we calculate the angle between the two vectors using components. Yes, now we define work. The scalar product of force and displacement is defined as work. In usual term, we say simply the product of force and displacement is called work, but in fact it is not the actual product, it is the scalar product of force and displacement. Yes, so this is the statement we have. The scalar product of force and displacement is defined as work. And remember, you are not supposed to say simply the product of force and displacement. You must write the scalar product of force and displacement. Here I'll explain how we calculate work done. Suppose we have ground here and we have a box, a small box we have. Suppose this is the ground we have. Suppose here we are tying a thread and we are applying a force F here. We are applying a constant force F here and we are dragging this object from here to here. Let's say the object is moving from here to here. The object is moving from here to here and we are applying a constant force in the same direction. We are applying the constant force in the same direction. And what is the displacement, guys? Here the displacement is from here to here. You can write this is d bar. And let's say this angle is theta. This angle is theta. That means this is the displacement direction and this is the actual force acting, right? So here we define work done. Work done is the scalar product or the dot product of the force and displacement. So force we are applying in this direction, but the object is moving this way. The box is moving on the ground this way. So throughout the motion we are applying a constant force F bar and the object is moving in the horizontal direction d bar. Now, so what do we write? Is equal to the magnitude of force into the magnitude of displacement into what is the angle between the two vectors? Theta. So cos theta, or simply W is equal to F into D into cos theta. This is the equation we get. And based on this theta value, the work done may be positive, may be negative, may be 0. Now let us see. If theta value, if theta is less than or equal to theta and 90 degrees, greater than, if theta is 0, it is equal to 0 and greater than 0 degrees, greater than 0 degrees and less than 90 degrees for all the values of theta. That means from 0 degrees onwards to 89 degrees. So what is work done? Work done is positive. Work done is positive. That means the angle between the force and displacement is, it must be 0 or greater than 0 and less than 90 degrees. In that case, work done is positive, because cos theta values, for cos theta values from 0 to 89 degrees, what is theta value? Cos theta value, positive values only. But, and if theta value is greater than 90 degrees and less than or equal to 180 degrees, W is negative. For all these values, for all the values of theta, that is greater than 90 degrees and less than or equal to 180 degrees, work done is negative. But if theta is exactly equal to 90 degrees, if theta is exactly equal to 90 degrees, so work done is 0, because cos 90 degrees, how much? Cos 90 degrees is 0. So that's why work done also becomes 0. Now let us see few examples. How we calculate work done. How we calculate work done. Yes. Suppose here we have a box we have, and you are applying a force in horizontal direction. Let's say you are applying a force like this, and the magnitude of this force is, let's say, 20 newtons, and you are moving the object from here to here, and the displacement is, let's say, some 10 meters. So displacement and the force both are acting in the same direction. So now in this case, if we calculate work done, so what do we write? F bar dot d bar. So F into D into, what is the angle between the two vectors? Force and displacement both are in the same direction, right? So cos 0 degrees. Now what is the F value? 20. And what is the displacement? 10. Cos 0, 1. So what is the work done? 20 into 10. So 200 joules. Very simple case. It is a very simple case. But in this case, what's happening? There is certain angle between the two vectors. Suppose I am not applying force like this. I am applying force like this. And let's say this angle is 30 degrees. I am applying force like this, but this is the ground we have. But the object is moving along horizontal direction only. In this case, what do we write? FD cos 30 degrees. And here you need to multiply with 30 degrees. So in these cases, in the first case and in this case, work done is positive only. But, and now let us take one example where we get negative value. Suppose a vehicle is moving towards us this side. But now we want to stop it. Now we exert force on the vehicle in this direction. Let's say the force value, the magnitude of the force is this way, and the magnitude of this force is, let's say, 100 newtons. But the vehicle, does it stop here? No, it moves this way, right? So we exert force in this direction, but let's say the displacement, so it is traveling this way. So the magnitude of this value is, let's say, 10 meters. So we are applying force. Actually vehicle is moving towards this way, but we want to stop it, so we apply force in this direction. But does it stop here? No. After traveling some distance only it stops, right? That means whenever you apply a constant force this way, but the vehicle moves toward this way. So in this case, work done. How do we calculate work done? The scalar product of force and displacement. So force F into D into cos of how much? 180 degrees, because force is in this direction, but the displacement is in the opposite direction. So in this case, what is the angle between force and displacement? 180 degrees. So cos of 180 minus 1. So F value how much? 100. And D value how much? 10. Cos of 180 minus 1. So what is the work done? Minus 1000 joules. That means, so work done may be positive, may be negative, may be 0 also. In this case, work done is 0. And we can also take one more example. Yes, suppose you are here and you are holding this is the ground we have, and you are holding a 100 Newton object. The weight of this object is 100 Newton, and you are holding on your head, and you are walking in horizontal direction. 100 meters. Now what is the work done by you? You may think that 100 into 100, but in this case, so the weight of the object is 100 newtons that acts in the downward direction, but in order to balance this one, you apply force in the upward direction to hold it. That means now F into D, the scalar product of F into D. But what is the direction of displacement? You are taking the object in this direction, but you apply force in the upward direction. So magnitude of force into magnitude of displacement into cos of the angle between the two vectors, force and displacement. Force is in the upward direction and displacement in the direction. So cos 90 degrees. So force 100 newtons, and you are walking 100 meters in the horizontal direction, but cos 90 is how much? 0 degrees. Sorry, 90 degrees. So cos 90 is 0. So in this case, the work done by you is 0 according to physics. Hope you understand this one. So based on the angle only, the work done varies. In this case, we apply force in the upward direction, but the displacement of the object is in the x direction. So the work done becomes 0. And in another case, you are standing here and you are holding 100 Newton objects in your hand. You are holding 100 Newton object in your hand for 1 hour. For 1 hour, you are holding this one. So what is the work done? Work done is equal to force into the scalar product of force and displacement. In this case, you are holding this one, but is there any displacement? So displacement value is 0, right? So you apply force in the upward direction, but is there any displacement? No. So in this case, the work done is 0. You apply force, but there is no displacement. Simply you are holding it for 1 hour. But are you moving either upward or downward? No. So that's why here work done is 0. So this is the way we calculate work done.